Most people who think about students in college think about the ways in which college impacts how they develop as human beings. And much of that happens in the classroom, I think, and much of that happens outside of the classroom.
What are you guys painting? That's gray. Oh, so I think we should add some more green. Maybe we can add some of this green.
There is a strong relationship between the academic and the social integration of a student's experience.
College has opened my eyes to so many things. I've met so many people, I've been exposed to ideas, I've learned in my classes all these new concepts that otherwise I wouldn't be familiar with.
At the University of Minnesota, we wanted to establish goals that we could say at the end of the educational experience, at graduation and beyond, that the students would have certain experiences and achievements that we think are highly relevant.
To do this, the university has created the student learning outcomes and the student development outcomes. It's important for us to produce students who can not only think academically, but perform on a number of other dimensions, to have self-awareness, to understand how to work with people who are different from them, to behave responsibly and accountably.
Life is not always linear, and so how do we help students think about what their goals are in life? I think sometimes there's this urge to say, well, my major is this, and then I'm going to go, and then I'm going to, and that is what goal orientation is. I think that's a misnomer. I think really what we're trying to figure out is, how do you know what it is that you want?
Goals, they have to change. I mean, your circumstance changes, so you learn new things about yourself, you're in a new environment, so you can't just have the same goals. You have to have new goals based upon your new experiences, based upon the things that you've been exposed to.
I think my definition of diversity has changed immensely after coming to this campus. I thought of diversity in primarily racial and cultural terms, and now I think of diversity in terms of ideas and where you come from, and I realize that everyone has a different culture.
The students that I've met, and even my friends today, are people I don't think I would have ever thought I would be friends with in high school. I cherish that I've been able to meet so many different people here. It's had a big impact on my life and my view of the world.
This is a unique and special place. We work carefully on incorporating those learning outcomes, those developmental skills into the whole student.
There are things and experiences that the university offers that puts you into close proximity with having to grapple with these very questions that the student development outcomes raise. Whether you decide to go on a study abroad experience, whether you do a service engagement project somewhere outside of the university, whether you take a class in a language or in a subject area that might be new to you, or getting involved with student organization, you're essentially having to practice in small ways many of these student development outcomes.
Self-awareness is a critical ingredient in success for students. They need to have an understanding of who they are as people in order to make good decisions about their careers or about graduate school. Employers don't want to hire students who later on decide, oh, this isn't the field for me, never mind. And graduate schools want to be sure they're making a good investment in the people that they bring in, that they've thought carefully about the path that they're heading down.
I thought I was going to go in a different direction academically when I started, and now I realize that I actually like the major I'm in, and my mother was right all along. Who knew?
You know, I take notice of how my actions affect the world around me and how I can affect the world around me. That's been a really important shift in how I approach life.
What does it mean to be responsible? What does it really mean in society to understand the word accountability? And how do you apply that to yourself?
I feel like I have more responsibility. You have to stay focused, and you have to realize that there's going to be more than one important thing at a time.
Part of this responsibility and accountability is understanding, what is my role? What are my many roles? How do I figure them out in ways that they can actually influence each other in positive ways? And then what's my accountability to others? Because part of, I think, the whole idea of development is, do we really develop on our own solitarily in vacuum, or do we do it in context of other people?
There are valuable experiences that students can have to foster independence or interdependence. It comes up in student groups when students take on leadership opportunities and there's no one there to tell them how to solve the problem. They have to work together as a unit to figure that out. I would also see it quite a lot in research when students undertake undergraduate research opportunities and work with a professor who may not be there to tell them every step of the process or might challenge them to think carefully about every step of the process for themselves.
One of the key developmental attributes is living and working in a world of ambiguity.
Ambiguity or uncertainty is really possibility. It's the ability to leave open multiple paths.
This is one of the hardest things for all of us to actually do. We like clear-cut, straight lines. We like yes and no answers. We like sound bites that are clear, crisp, and that everybody agrees with. But that's not the life that our students will go into.
What is our capacity to navigate the challenging things in our life? The extent to which we can navigate them well speaks to how resilient we are and how then that relates to our goal-orientedness, our independence, and so on and so forth. So resilience is one's capacity to bounce back.
College is hard. Don't let anybody fool you, man. College is hard.
You know, you're being told you have to do so many things. Get here, find a major, connect in the dorm, make friends, balance work and family, have fun because college is the one time you get to have fun. I mean, there's a million different messages that students get about coming to college, right? So this is yet another message. How does it become meaningful?
It's not just a question of taking it in and absorbing. It's a question about self-examination and self-reflection and thinking about how well am I doing? Am I a different person as a fourth-year graduating senior than I was at orientation 4 years ago?
I think I've changed a lot since the first day I arrived on campus. I'm more confident in myself. I know more about who I am as a person and what I like. I feel comfortable with the decisions I make.
If I came to college and I graduated and I realized I hadn't changed, then something would be terribly wrong with that.